Let's get down to business now. We've got Coach Locker here to talk some football. I know it's not football season, but who cares? We'll always find an excuse to talk about it. And just recently we found out that the Big 33 team, with some additions and some subtractions, were able to add quarterback for the Warwick Warriors, Joey McCracken, to the Pennsylvania squad. So for Coach Locker, that's got to be a pretty big honor for you, because now you have not one, not two, but three players from your team now playing in that Big 33 game.
Yeah, it's a tremendous thing. I'm really glad for Joey. I might get in trouble for this, but I thought he deserved to make it from the get-go. I thought he was one of the two best quarterbacks in the state of Pennsylvania. But for him to get this honor now, when I got a hold of him and said, like, hey, I just got a call from the Big 33 committee. They want to know if you want to play in the Big 33. He was pretty excited. Joey's usually a pretty mild-mannered, even-keel kid, and he was pretty stoked to get this opportunity. So I'm glad for him. And yeah, it's a neat thing.
So Joey is committed to Maine to play football next year. He also is a 5,000-yard passer for Warwick, so certainly well-deserved for him. It's pretty cool that there are three players here. Eric, you've covered the LL Football League for a long time. Three players from one team on the Big 33 squad is a pretty big deal.
Well, indeed it is. And, the other thing that obviously Coach Locker got to deal with was a lot of the recruiting process too, between Nolan and Caleb and now Joey. I mean, I'm sure that's a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of tape being shared. So I'm sure it was quite an experience for you, Coach Locker.
Yeah, recruiting in the modern age is a little different than it used to be. Nolan, with having his father on the staff and having experienced that with Hayden, his was pretty much handled, through the Rucci family. I mean, I did some stuff, but nowadays you send a tape out, people see it. I have assistant coaches like, Coach Rucci does a tremendous job of helping with that and has some great contacts. You get a few phone calls, but after a while, it's more about coaches interacting with kids than it used to be. They all understand the regs and the NCAA guidelines, and they do a tremendous job of finding ways to have contact with high school football players legally.
All right, Tim, hop in here.
In 2002, Coach, it was the most Lancaster Lebanon League players that were on the Big 33 team was 6. Scroll ahead to 2021, there are 5 now, so the second most since the LL League was part of the Big 33 back in 1972. What does that just tell you now about the state of Lancaster Lebanon League? Just so many good teams and coaches, but the players are just getting better and better.
You could take a quick snapshot of district playoffs this year and look at how well LL League teams did in district playoffs. LS, Manheim Township always, we had a good run, some of the other schools. So I think that's a reflection of the fact that LL League football is in a good place right now. I think that, as a league, we're able to compete with everybody. I know everybody compares the world to mid-Penn. That's all well and good, but I think we showed this year that we're a quality football league, and I think it'll continue. I think a lot of teams have caught up in terms of all-season preparation and weight training and what it takes to be a tremendous team. And you throw in there Manheim Central, Calico on any given year. I'll line any of those schools up against mid-Penn schools that are the same size and feel good about what's going to happen.
All right, so a little bit of an interesting wrinkle here on the PA squad for Big 33 because the Pine Richland quarterback was taken off the roster and Joey McCracken was added. Now there's 2 LL quarterbacks running the show there for the team. So, I mean, that's a pretty big deal for the LL. I don't know the history of the Big 33, but I'm sure there hasn't been 2 Lancaster Lebanon League quarterbacks helming that huge game that has ties to the Super Bowl every year.
And again, I think that is a reflection of the programs. I mean, you look at the body of work that Manheim Township and Coach Evans puts in, and he has a player in it, and you look at what we put in and what our kids put in, tremendous amount of work, and you have to have some talent, and both Clark and Joey have talent. I don't know if there's ever been a situation where 2 kids from the same league are in at the same time, and if that's the case, and it's a tremendous honor for the LL League, and I just think it's amazing. We had Hayden in the Big 33 game, but prior to that, we've never had a Big 33 player since I've been here. And I'll kind of circle back to where we started. To have 3 of them in at one time is not quite surreal, but an amazing state of affairs for the program, for their, for those kids and their parents, and then for my staff, for all the work they put. It's really a neat experience, or it will be a neat experience, but having the accolades is pretty cool.
I just thought of you guys. I remember when the 2 Cocalico players made the team, that was a huge deal for Cocalico. And now for you to have 3, it just jumped off the page at me. Eric, as we maybe potentially turn the page here to Warwick's future coming up in the fall, do you have any questions for Coach Locker about his upcoming team, or do you want to hang on the Big 33 topic?
Well, actually, I just wanted to fire off and get your answer in 2 or 3 words to describe each of these 3 guys that we're talking about. So in 2 or 3 words, give me a description about Joey McCracken.
Tough, perseverance, intelligence.
Nolan Rucci.
Huge but athletic, very cerebral, smart kid.
And Caleb Schmitz.
Athleticism, thumper's not a good word, and not the rabbit either, but he'll come downhill and hit you. Yeah, dynamic.
Yeah. I tell you, I can't wait to see and follow these 3 at the next level and see how they progress. I think the sky's the limit for all 3 of them.
I agree. I think, and the really neat thing is, and I don't want to, I know if there's other things, but one of the things I don't ever want to lose sight of is they're not just good football players. They're tremendous young men. They're student athletes. If you pull up their GPAs, they're all very intelligent, have applied themselves throughout their high school experience, are going to go to quality institutions, come away with a great education and opportunity to play football. We all want to win and have great athletes, but when you get great student athletes that are a reflection of parenting and everything that goes into it, it's really special to see this happen.
All right, so Coach Locker, that is kind of the guys that built this program to where it is. Now we get to look forward to what's coming up in the fall. I know you're probably keeping ties here with the team as the year goes on. What do we have to look forward to for Warwick football in the future here?
Well, you said earlier it's not football season. It's always football season. I came here from the weight room just like I'm sure Han did, Evans did. It doesn't end. But going into next year, if I go by what people tell me, I think we're going to be 0-10 and just decimated by life. So, but I'm smirking. I'll get myself in trouble here, but I think the kids have figured out now that there's a system to this. And if you put in the work and have some athleticism and have a desire to be better, and I have tremendous coaches on my staff and I have great kids, our expectation is to be an outstanding football team again next year. And I know that on paper, it'll look like, well, look at all that you've lost. But I'm the one seeing the kids in the weight room and I like what I see. I think we have replacement parts, not to treat it as a car, but I think we have kids that are going to step in, do a tremendous job. I expect to be a very, very good football team next year.
Eric, any follow-up to that?
No, I have to laugh the fact that the young coach says it's always football season, which is fine with me. I tell you what, I'm just glad to hear that the kids are coming out, because you get one shot at this, and I tell you what, just listening to what Coach you're saying about the offseason conditioning and this, that, and everything else, man, if I could turn back the clock and do it again, I'd do it in a heartbeat. So I just hope these kids really take it to heart and put the time and effort in and just enjoy the experience.
Tim, any final questions for Coach Locker before we let him go?
Yeah, just a question, Coach. What have you been hearing about what you can and cannot do as far as workouts in the summer? I know last year, of course, they were pretty much non-existent. Practices were really curtailed a whole bunch. But have you been told anything yet what you can and cannot do?
One positive note, we were told this week that we usually go to a team camp at Millersville, and last year, obviously, that was canceled. We were told this week that Millersville is going to allow team camp to take place at Millersville. It'll be about the second week of July. But we were told to go ahead as though we will be able to take our team there. I think we're going to be given a rather lengthy list of do's and don'ts, and we'll have to do a lot of things differently than we used to. But just hearing that they're going to allow team camp, I take that as a serious sign of hope. you look at last year, no interactions, no team camp. We were blessed to have had a veteran squad who kind of took care of themselves and prepared on their own. But it's important to get summer work, so that was good to hear. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get some summer work in.
All right, well, Coach Locker, thanks for coming on. Congrats on having 3 of your players make one of the most prestigious games in the Northeast. And we will track you down at some point as summer approaches and we get excited for football. So we will let you go. But again, thank you for coming on the program here.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
All right, take care. Have a great weekend, and we will see you in just a bit.